People around the world look at California and ask the same question: how is this happening? And why aren't people doing anything about it? To understand that, you need to meet Amanda Ripley. She's a journalist and author who spent years studying how humans behave in high-stress situations, both during disasters and long-running conflicts. Her books, The Unthinkable and High Conflict, dig deep into why people freeze, fight, or flat-out deny what's happening around them. And when it comes to California, her work explains it better than anything else I've read. It all comes down to something she calls a disaster personality.
Let's start with what I call the turkey problem. Not the bird exactly, but the mindset. It's the kind of logic where every day is fine, so you assume every day will be fine. Right up until Thanksgiving. That's inductive reasoning. And it's everywhere in California. People look around and say, well, I can still order Uber Eats and binge Netflix, so we must be okay. Meanwhile, the foundations are crumbling.
In The Unthinkable, Amanda Ripley drops a line that hits harder the more you think about it. Fear of panic kills more people than the disaster itself. In real emergencies, most people don't overreact, they underreact. They freeze, they rationalize. They convince themselves things will just work out, and in a long-term disaster like California's, that fear of rocking the boat means people do nothing, they normalize, they adapt, and slowly but surely the decline becomes the new normal. I've been all over the world, and I'm telling you, outside of actual war zones, California is one of the biggest cultural disasters I've seen. Here's just the short list. Homelessness that's worse than parts of Latin America. Multi-generational housing that's now out of necessity, not tradition. Home ownership rates lower than Nigeria, collapsing public services, failing infrastructure, rising crime, all of it smoothed over by tech hype and feel-good slogans. I once brought this up to a second-gen Filipino guy living in a good neighborhood. He said, "It's not that bad." Meanwhile, he's raising kids in the same house with his parents and grandparents. That might work for his family culturally, but it's a survival tactic, not a sign of a functioning economy. Ripley's concept of a disaster personality explains this perfectly. It's what happens when people are exposed to so many stressors for so long that their minds can't process it anymore. Instead of fighting, they freeze. They shut down. They start using psychological defense mechanisms like denial, projection, normalization, displacement. They should be panicking, but they've numbed themselves to it instead. And honestly, that's why I stopped trying to engage with a lot of Californians on these issues. It's like trying to explain drowning to someone already underwater. They can't hear you. They're trying to survive. And if you don't have a life ring to offer, they'll pull you under with them. You can't have a rational conversation when someone is in disaster mode 24/7. If this level of dysfunction is considered normal now, what does the next 50 years look like? If it's this bad now with all our wealth, tech and infrastructure, what happens when the tax base finally erodes? When the middle class gives up entirely? California doesn't need one big collapse. It's already living through a slow motion one. And that's what Ripley warns us about. Not the explosion, but the long, quiet slide into acceptance. Fear of panic kills more people than the disaster itself. In California, that fear has turned into culture. The state isn't just in crisis, it's in emotional overload, and most people are so overloaded they can't process just how far things have fallen.
If that makes you uncomfortable, good, that's the point.